post based on today's brief.
All right. Good morning, Internet.
Peoples. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the
here's
day.
We should be nice to the machine. So we should good morning to the Internet, because the Internet's what's paying attention.
It totally is. It's the only thing that is. And everybody that has their AI agents out there running.
It's absolutely hilarious. I am now I'm noticing a little bit of a trend, and maybe because I'm getting on fewer meetings or something like that, but it seems like at least the people that I'm meeting with more recently do not have their note takers showing up before them, which is actually kind of nice. I think it's nice that people show up to meetings without their security blanket note taker, and it's awesome to me when people are like, "Oh, this is just so awesome! It's great to have it here. You should just see how it recaps the notes," and you're kind of like, "You were in the meeting."
Yeah.
Are you just taking the information it's giving back to you and now you're reading off the teleprompter, or are you actually thinking through things and saying, "Oh, I didn't realize I said that. Ooh, how did it take that?" Are you reflecting? Are you assessing? Are you learning from that process? Or is it just some other tool that you just connected up where now we're just educating the rest of the machines?
Yeah. Sadly, most people in my recent experience just use it so they don't have to do work.
That's awesome.
So they don't have to think about stuff, just quote unquote saves them time.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. The one that I love even more is all the people are out there who are like sustainability and green and whatever, and then they go and they create all of this extra waste. So anyway,
don't get on that high horse.
Huh?
Don't get on that high horse, that high pedestal, that whatever it is.
One of those days.
It is one of those days.
So what's going on with you today?
Well, today I woke up and decided to futz around with Opal, which was pretty cool. Yeah. And I discovered a whole bunch of things about it that I hadn't discovered. And it's time to definitely dive deeper into that and try to build something. So that'll be an interesting, fun project. Hey, don't look at that. Don't look at that HTML file, Craig. You're not supposed to see it.
This is the whole behind the curtain. And this is the cool thing about working out loud. Like when you go in and you kind of see this stuff, you can kind of see pieces come together, warts and all.
And Wendy's here with
and I just tested. So I tested inside Restream. There's a way where I can, as a host, say good morning, and it looks like I only sent that to Facebook and YouTube. I have no idea what is going on with the chat, but today, surprise, surprise, I can see the chat from Wendy.
From LinkedIn is finally coming in.
And yesterday, for those who were watching yesterday, one of the things we were running into is we could see chat. We went from a day where we couldn't see any chat. Then we saw chat from Twitter, or X, excuse me. And now we've got LinkedIn, and
I blame it on the weather.
And then I've got Craig over there coaching me up around, did you put it in the general chat? Dude, I just push buttons, man. That is what I do. Brent and I had that conversation a little bit earlier today where he's like, "Dude, Mike, you should see this cool stuff. There's some teleprompter stuff that you can start reading. We can go back and forth like two hosts." I'm like, Brent, just as a reminder, I'm like the guy they make fun of on Saturday Night Live. The person the person who can't read the teleprompter and just says other things. So there you go. Welcome to the conversation Brent and I had before we turn the mics on.
Yeah.
And are we supposed to share that stuff, Brent, or is that just between us?
No, it's all good. Yeah. No, I dropped it into the general one on purpose, Craig. I mean, not on purpose, just it didn't really matter. I was mostly just kidding that you shouldn't open it up. Yeah. It shows what Opal generates. It's very different than what the regular Gemini gem generates, but we've gotten used to generating it, the daily news brief, through the regular gem. So let's just go ahead and read that today. What do you say?
I see. Let's kick it off with what Opal gave us. You play the first person. Okay. I'll play the second person. We'll just do it up into the point that we kind of go, Yeah, let's do it to the point where we go back and forth on 2 of them,
Okay.
and, then Craig can make fun of me and my, lack of comfort in reading, stuff off the script, which is what he's asked me to do for Craig, how long have we known each other? So,
It's going to take 2 minutes for his answer to come through.
yeah.
Okay. So
Well, it'll come through Slack a little bit faster, so that'll only be it'll be halftime. It's like Half-Life. It'll only be a minute.
you be you be Mark. I'm Chloe.
Perfect.
Good morning, America. It's Thursday, January 29th, 2026, and we're here to tackle the biggest stories impacting your cubicle, your corner office, and your coffee break. I'm Brent Schlenker.
And I'm Mike Simmons. And folks, if you thought you were feeling the pressure to adapt, spare a thought for corporate compliance officers. It turns out your company's AI bot might be facing more legal scrutiny than your last expense report.
That's right, Mark. Our first story, the regulatory landscape is evolving faster than a startup's funding rounds, especially when it comes to AI and machine learning. A recent program on regulatory compliance and legal risk management for financial institutions highlighted just how intense things are getting. Think less, don't insider trade, and more. Is your AI culturally sensitive while performing high frequency trading?
Oh, I could just picture the new compliance training. Module 7, how to teach your algorithm to apologize to the shareholders for accidentally buying all the world's cat memes. Companies are now viewing compliance as a strategic asset, partnering to advance ethics and conduct, which, let's be honest, sounds like they're trying to teach a bot to have a conscience. Good luck with that. All right. So there we go. That was 4 little clips from the bot, which tells me that really the better version of this is probably going to be to take that script, drop it into something like Hedra or VEO3, and just create an animated version of us while we then critique the animated version of us.
That'll be next week. We'll work on that next week.
Hold on, Craig, you can tell that I didn't read it through once before doing that. That was all. Come on, Craig.
Damn. How could you tell? Hey, this is what we call a what is it? A dry read, a table read.
A table read with the cameras on. So it just feels inauthentic.
It does. It feels kind of weird. And I think people are probably more focused on us screwing it up and not doing it right than they are on the actual content. Like, did anybody actually know what we actually talked about? Like, what was that story about?
It was about Module 7.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the real news.
All right, let's go back.
Sora. Yeah, good. Thanks, Wendy. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple things. So that's going to be the test that we're going to do. We've got a little bit of time.
Notebook LM does that whole podcast thing.
Yeah. So let's do this. So between now and when we get back together on Monday, Brent and I are going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to put this. I'm going to take the same thing and I'm going to do some stuff on my end, and Brent's going to take the same thing and do some stuff on his end, and we're going to have the like a preview to the AI tools competing with each other just for that first clip. So like, so Brent, you do what you do with it. I will do what I do with it, and we'll have a little bit of fun before Monday morning. And yes, Craig, I will write that down on my note card and remember to go and do it. And so
blind read. Thank you, Craig. That's good.
Thank you. Did he just call us blind?
He did. Well, Elon's going to fix that though, so no more blind people.
Right.
Well, while he's writing that down, taking a note, and add a little thing at the bottom of your note that says, "Be sure to send Brent a text to remind him too."
Yeah, I'm going to have 3 reminders. First reminder. It's like the ghost of Christmas past coming in and reminding you.
Okay, so
Ebenezer Scrooge.
All right, we're starting the news over here.
Thank you.
Take 2. Okay. That's our visual cue. Good morning, people. It's January 29th, 2026, and if you're still measuring your L&D success by course completion rates, I have some news. Your employees aren't learning. They're just hiring robot interns to do their homework. Our top story today, agentic AI is officially the C- student of the corporate world. According to recent reports from HR Morning and ADP, employees are now using autonomous AI agents to breeze through your beautifully designed and very expensive compliance modules. L&D pros, we've been played. The agents are completing the courses, the LMS is checking the box, and the humans are, well, they're probably watching Netflix or, I don't know, actually working. Here's why it matters. If 2025 was the year of AI for content, 2026 is the year of AI for accountability. We have to move from click next to continue to scenario-based testing and on-the-job performance metrics. If a robot can pass your training is effectively a CAPTCHA that we're failing.
I'm telling you, I love the dumb version, the non-thinking version. But maybe it's just because it aligns with my poor humor.
No, it's good. It's good. I dug it too. It's kind of why I really wanted to come back to this, because I did read it a little bit this morning, and I'm like, oh, this one has some funny stuff.
It is amazing. It's amazing now that it says that, or like give it a name or whatever. But like now that the bot comes back and says it that way, it really is kind of funny that someone did not come up with like the designed by CAPTCHA approach to getting your compliance training out there. Where like instead of you had to move the hands into the right place in the CAPTCHA image so that you weren't going to get nailed for AB 1825, like whatever it was. Like there was going to be something that you could do there. And I mean, that technology has been out there for a while. Imagine that tech being applied to your L&D strategy.
Yeah. You before you're allowed to log in, you have to pass a test.
I'm thinking about just the being present to move those things around throughout the process. Now, I mean, I know we've all seen it where it's like, you connect the dots between these things or put these things in order and all of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
But, I mean, if we do it that way, then we hit on both the visual learner and the, what do they call it? What's the one who has to move things around? Are they the
the tactile learner?
The tactile learner. So we hit both of those. And yes, you're welcome, Craig. That was for you making fun of me not reading before I started reading.
Beautiful. Well, so I'm curious if the story refers to if this is coming mostly from the ed tech world, or if corporate folks really are good enough at AI yet to be able to build a bot or whatever to take the compliance training course. Like, has anybody legit run into somebody that's actually done that?
Just go on LinkedIn. Someone will tell you that they did it. And then someone will come in really
well, they'll
quickly
also tell you that they made $1 million ARR, with this one prompt.
That's awesome.
Yeah, LinkedIn's turned into TikTok. Yeah, it's just a mess. But in our circle of people where this stream might fall in, or our stream might fall into their LinkedIn stream of those folks. Comment if you've ever heard of anybody or know of anybody that actually did take corporate compliance and created a bot or something that took the test for them. I don't even know how I would code that, or how I would start to build it, because it's going to have to, like I could cut and paste the question into an AI, have the AI give me the answer, and then I click the right answer. I can.
It can read images. Like I've been messing around with Grok with some of the continuous glucose meter stuff that I've been
But
just
how
kind
do
of
you
screwing
launch
around.
the course? Like, do you
But
just say, "Hey, you first you have to point the
I
bot to
pointed at the
the
screen.
LMS. You have to point to the LMS. It has to log into the LMS. It has to
Yeah,
pick the right course to take,
yeah,
and then it has to launch the course. If it launches in a different window, a different browser, and
yeah,
it's got all sorts of locked features on it and whatever, like, man, this screen
yeah,
has to be up for 30 seconds. Your bot could like cancel out before the timer runs out.
yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff like that. So
So you're
I don't
calling bullshit on the story. You think this
I
is a
don't know. That's
fabrication?
it's just why I'm asking, because I'm just like thinking through all of the things that we put people through to take these stupid compliance tests. And it's not that the AI isn't smart enough to take the test. Is it able, does it have access, and does it understand all of the gyrations that it has to go through just to get to the damn test?
Yeah. And Wendy just threw it into Slack. She said she finds it far fetched knowing all the back end API connectors, authentication, and everything else that would be required in order to get it to do that.
Right?
So, yeah.
That's what
So
I'm
I think
thinking.
that it's kind of like when you read on LinkedIn or Twitter, like they're all popping up in different places, but those narratives where it's like, CEO says to so and so, and then the CFO says to so and then the CEO responds with whatever, and the CFO, and it's all just this back and forth narrative. And it's all bullshit. Um, like so, and that's the reason why I have such a hard time writing that stuff, because I try to deal with not bullshit stuff. Granted, I understand it's all my perspective, and you have a green screen. You've lost your image. I don't know what happened there.
Well, I tried to change my image and then it
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
"Forget you, Brent. I'm not giving you an image."
But let's move to ooh, that was cool. So
What
Wendy,
was
thank you
cool?
for testing. So what Wendy did is she's tested on Brent's link, and the previous one was on mine. And for the it looks like both of them worked. And again, we're just looking at the chat. So we're working out loud as we're going through this. If this is boring to you, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Find another morning show to listen to. we're working on trying to figure it out. If this is somewhat mildly entertaining, you can nudge us with different things like, hey, talk more about whatever or less about whatever, or add some knock knock jokes or like whatever the thing you're looking
Oh,
for as we're going through it. Um, but I think let's get back into the news and keep things going, because I call survey says on the first on the first news story.
yeah, I believe we have a consensus on that. So, uh, but wait, science has finally given us the excuse we've been waiting for since third grade. Researchers at the University of Geneva just dropped a bombshell in neuroimage. The afternoon nap is the new LinkedIn learning.
Hmm.
I think the napping thing came up yesterday, but we don't have to mention that. The study proves that a short nap triggers a synaptic reset, clearing space in your brain for new memories. Basically, your brain is a browser with too many tabs open, and a 20-minute snooze is the force quit button.
That's awesome. Do you
Here's
take
why it matters. One
oh,
last section.
whoops. All right.
Instructional designers, stop building 60-minute deep dives. Build 15-minute microbursts followed by a 20-minute neuro integration period, which is fancy L&D speak for a nap. If your boss asks why the team is sleeping in the break room, tell them it's homeostatic plasticity recalibration. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then whine about why you don't have a seat at the table. Like, how come people don't get me? Why don't they understand me? I'm just communicating. Like,
aren't, aren't, aren't you the team that naps? Yeah, but we want a seat at the table. Hold on a second. My team is homeostatic plasticity recalibrating.
I am a big fan of naps. The uh, just as a good way to just kind of, like you said, reset and just kind
Yeah.
of recalibrate. And sometimes you just need it. And then there's other times, and it's kind of funny. I'll go through these states where my brain is just firing and I cannot sleep.
Yeah.
So like there's different things that will end up happening, and it's hard to be aware of yourself and kind of work through that process and say, hey, is this the time where I need a nap, or is this the time where I just need to keep going, or
Grind it.
do I
Yeah.
need to just go for a walk? Like those kind of things, that little bit of a reset. It's unfortunately, I think a lot of people reset by doom scrolling right now, which
Yeah.
is not a good fucking reset. I mean, there we go.
No,
Another F bomb. That is not a good reset. It doesn't
that is
do
a great
anything for
point
you.
too. Yeah.
So
People will disconnect from what they need to be doing to just shove a whole bunch of more crap in their brain. And yeah, it's not good.
it's
Um,
a lot
yeah.
of people
So
talk about it in the context of like health and fitness. Like one of the things when you get super into it and you come out of the gate at the beginning of the year, like I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to work out really hard. And then what ends up happening is you just burn out, you fry out. If you're not giving your body, yourself, your brain time to recover,
yeah.
you're going to burn out.
Yep.
And given the number of people that talk about burnout out loud, yet at the same time spend a lot of time just working through, it's kind of like, all right, well, what are we doing here? Like maybe go put your feet in some sand. Like you may not be able to get to a beach, go to some place where there's sand. Just put your feet in some sand and see what happens. Like touch the ground. So anyway, there we go. Now I'm a hippie.
Well, there is some science behind that too. There's that whole connecting with the earth and the electromagnetic field or something like that is supposed to recalibrate the body, but that's not one of today's news stories. Let's move on to the next one, unless somebody else has something else to add for naps. The microbursts and the neuro integration period. That's a good one too. These are great phrases for naps. The neuro integration period. So to work that into your next instructional design block, have a neuro integration period. All right, here we go.
All right, be careful. Don't go out and buy that URL. Brent and I are going to go buy the URL.
I prefer homeostatic plasticity recalibration.
Well, that one just rolls right off the tongue.
Well, no, it's HPR. It's just cute, but we'll just, knock it down. That'll be my new tag underneath my name, a chief HPR specialist or something like that. All right. Speaking of value, a new report. Did you see how I segued there? I didn't even talk about value, but I said, speaking of value, it's genius. It's just perfect. A new report from Pearson says that teaching employees to use AI rather than replacing them with it could add $6.6 trillion to the U.S. economy. $6.6 trillion. Wait, stop, everyone, pause. That's all it takes around here. 6.6 trillion. That's enough to buy, well, at least 3 or 4 premium enterprise LMS licenses. The ROI of AI isn't just found in the software. It's found in the skill. If you want the big bucks, you have to invest in discernment training. Teach humans how to tell when the AI is lying to them. It's not about prompt engineering anymore. It's about algorithmic auditing. Finally, oh, no, that's it. So, yeah, that's all it has to say. The 6.6 trillion napkin math. How did that story make you feel, Mike?
I don't have feelings. I'm a robot.
This isn't true because Craig just made a joke and it hurt your feelings.
It didn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, it did. It totally did. I could tell.
You could tell that I was hurt.
Yeah, I can tell you.
I need a neuroplasticity reset. Where can I go do one of those and just kind of wake up and forget all of it? Like, or maybe we should just go. Maybe now we're going to be at the point where we get that little thing from Men in Black, you get a little flash thing, and you just kind of
Oh
flash
yeah, hey, that's like a neuroplasticity recalibration. Yeah.
just right away. It just happens in real
Hey,
time.
quick total aside, James Gilchrist is here. Gosh darn it, good to see you, James.
Hey, James.
And yes, I am using the wrong mug. Mike and I have not financed this operation enough to have our own mugs yet. So yeah, I'm having to pimp somebody else's podcast. But because it's the only gigantic mug that I have. The other one that I like to use was just given to me as a Christmas gift is one of those small mugs. It just doesn't hold enough coffee. I love the mug, but it's small. Anyways, it is great to see you too, James. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for commenting. And yeah, Wendy and Craig also, as usual. Thank you for being here. So there's that. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
So what hit the cutting room floor? What hit the cutting room?
Well, wait, we have one more story because remember we do
that's right. Industry. It is industry.
Industry.
If you're paying attention, if you have your bingo card at home, we are now. We're now with the industry.
We are now on to the last segment of every single L&D briefing news, or what do I call it? The morning brief, I think. Yeah. I don't know. For you British folks out there, that's the morning pants. Anyways, bad joke. Sorry. Finally, let's look at the retail sector. Sprouts Farmers Market is officially winning the How to Train Gen Z war. They've ditched the dusty slide decks for bite-sized mobile games. Instead of reading a manual on how to stack kale, associates are playing Kale Crusher, probably, and seeing massive performance boosts. Retail, this is why it matters. Retail is high turnover and high speed. If your training requires a desktop and a quiet room, you've already lost. Meet the workers where they are, on their phones, looking for a dopamine hit. That's the brief for today. I'm going to go recalibrate my synapse under my desk. Stay smart, stay caffeinated, and for the love of God, stop using Comic Sans in your compliance decks.
Now it has a consistent sign off. That's kind of interesting because I think we're 2 days in a row. Well, we're 2 days in a row with the Comic Sans comment. I think. Cool to hear Sprouts make the news today from an industry perspective because we're working on an event that's on February 25th, local event, and I'm going to see if I can get someone from the HR team, the hiring group at Sprouts, to be on a panel for that event. Cool. So I would like a link to that piece, and then I'll use that to from an outreach standpoint, from a context perspective.
And I'd like to give you a link.
Oh, it still hasn't. It's still hiding the link. The only links that we get are the ones on the cutting room floor. Let's hit the cutting room floor. What were our top 10 on the cutting room floor?
Okay, so 10 stories left on the cutting room floor. Blackbaud, a generation partnership using AI for workforce development in underserved communities. There is source for that. So interestingly enough, the 10 stories that get left on the cutting room floor do come with a source. So if anybody would like those, I can paste them into the Slack, and then our producers in the Slack room can go ahead and paste it into LinkedIn somewhere.
I think it's awesome that the AI bot has decided that on the stuff that I want you to read, I'm not going to give you any background on it, so you can't check my work. But on the stuff that I don't want you to read, I'm going to go ahead and give you the background data so you can check to see why I made the decision that I made. It's awesome. I love it. It's like our AI bot has hit that adolescent teenager period where it's like, you know nothing, old man.
I'm not giving you what you asked for in the prompt. Are you kidding me? You're just ahead. Get a job in a sideshow. Most people won't know that phrase. It's kind of an inside joke with me and a bunch of friends of mine from an old movie called Reanimator. If you've never seen it, it's the most horrible movie ever made, but it's hilarious. Has some good one-liners.
Yeah.
It's like Toxic Avenger. If you've never seen Toxic Avenger, I think they spent $20,000 to make it, and it grossed a couple million on VHS back in the day.
Still, hands down, the worst movie ever made, and this nothing has knocked it off the pedestal for me. Is and I'm gonna screw up the name, but I think the name of the movie is The Chase, and it had Charlie Sheen and some actress who was blonde and like a red car, and they spend the entire movie in the car on this chase, and it is literally the biggest. Like, if you're looking for a way to HPR, throw that thing on.
That'll put you right into HPR mode. Oh, Craig knows Reanimator. Wow, I never thought I'd meet somebody who knows Reanimator. Holy buckets. Right on. Who's going to believe you? You're just a head. Get a job in a sideshow. It's the best line. All right. Back to the 10 stories. Sorry. We did Blackbot and Generation Partnership. Yep. LLMs reach adult theory of mind. GPT-4 now understands, I think that you think, better than some humans. Wow. Have we gotten to sentience yet? Is that what they call that? Sentience?
Are we on GPT-5? Like, I've got GPT.
When you share the prompt requirements you use to create Grok. And, oh, sorry, I'm mumbling out loud and interrupting you. Sorry.
I've started doing it too, but so GPT 5.2 is what I show in my OpenAI. Why is this thing saying GPT 4?
You know, Mike, AIs are known to hallucinate and
thank you,
and not always get the information correct. So, just in case you were aware of that, we are supposed to check its work.
Oh, well, good. There we go. Point made.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel bad. Did I hurt your feelings?
Again, no feelings.
The end of the career ladder. Ronstadt reports workers are moving toward portfolio careers. Skills-based hiring surge. 84% of execs say finding qualified workers is their number one hurdle. Coursera, Udemy merger aftermath. Oh, the impact of the $2.5 billion MOOC giant on enterprise pricing. I would have loved to have heard that story in today's news. I don't know why I didn't pick that. Oh, well. Gartner governance warning. 40% of AI projects predicted to fail by 2027 due to poor data governance. I would say that percentage is going to be higher, but that's just me. Empathetic leadership trend. Korn Ferry says, and it's always been the craziest name for a consultancy, by the way. But anyways. They're making bajillions of dollars, so I guess I shouldn't complain. Says soft skills are now hard requirements in 2026. Interesting. Empathetic leadership trend. That's something you want to read that one? You want me to paste that in for you?
Sure.
It's got a leadership bent to it, so I thought you meant one.
Well, it's I think what's absolutely hilarious is when some consulting company with a funny name says it, everybody gravitates toward it. When some jackass with a whiteboard and a black t-shirt has been shouting at the clouds for the last 18 months, it passes like a fart in the wind.
You're not charging them. If you charge them like, $500,000 for you to come in a suit instead of a black t-shirt, they would listen to you.
Come on. Again, the suit jacket only comes out for weddings and funerals. And that's just the jacket. My mom got pissed. The last wedding I went to, my niece got married. I showed up in jeans,
black t-shirt and a jacket.
Jeans, well, nice button-down shirt and a jacket. I thought I looked damn good.
It's a good look, man.
It is a good look. It's a good look.
Everybody wears jeans with the jacket. I mean, come on.
It's in Southern California too.
All you needed was cowboy boots, and you'd have been styling.
The photographer gave me a hard time for wearing my Vans. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, yeah. So I got the photographer throwing shade at me. So
I'm a
maybe I do have
90s baby. Come
feelings.
on.
They're just deeply repressed. Let's ask the AI. Maybe we'll add another segment in here. How to help Mike get over his repressed feelings.
HPR. You need some HPR. That's all. It refreshes it right up. Okay, empathetic leadership. We did that. The autonomy crisis. University of Phoenix white paper links burnout to lack of growth opportunities. Renaissance intelligence launch. Real-time AI assessment tools for educators coming summer 2026. And the gig economy takeover. Freelancers expected to be the workforce majority by 2027.
Yeah.
I've got so many different things I could say about that.
I think we hit on let's hit on that one because that one's getting a lot of attention right now, at least in the people that I'm connected to on LinkedIn.
And then there's the lack of growth opportunities and all of that kind of stuff. Here's a couple points, the things that just got triggered in my brain just for reading that. I have not listened in the early days of podcasting. There was this guy named Tim Ferriss, and
he's still around.
He is still around, and that's what I'm getting to. But for a while, that like he invented, not didn't. I mean, I won't say invented, but he was the only long form podcaster back in the day, and everybody just thought it was dumb and crazy. And I remember thinking, this is definitely the future. And now everybody's got long form podcasts, and everybody's doing it, and you know, Joe Rogan gets all the credit for, you know, being long form and all that kind of stuff, but it really was Tim Ferriss doing long form first. But anyways, so I was listening to him, and this was interesting, and this is what I try to tell people that are interested and curious about learning new things, figure out ways and do it differently than we all like to pontificate about in our little bubble. And he mentioned a company called Oboe, OBOE, yesterday. And I'd heard about it before. It's an AI course generating, training, learning, generating platform. But it wasn't necessarily the fact that he called them out. It was the context that he talked about it and how adamant he was about, if you want to learn anything, it will create a course path for you to learn it. You just go and it'll just do it. The easy, and he's like, and he recommends it to everybody. Oh, he's an investor in it too. So that's why he was talking about it as well. But anyways, I just wanted to bring that up. So thank you for posting Oboe in there, because I do want to take a look at it, and it just always reminds me that it's the people moving our industry the most are often the people who aren't embedded deeply in it the way we all are. So there's that. Now let's go to the gig economy.
There's a really good one of the books that he put out there is The 4-Hour Chef. And The 4-Hour Chef is really about accelerated learning. Like that was the part of the background on that.
I remember when he was writing that one.
Really good book. And I think his Tools of Titans and Tribe of Mentors and a lot of his content, that was part of the reason why we launched the podcast back in 2016. Was just the amount of learning that happened through podcasts and things like the HBR Idea Cast way back when, which was
way back when,
kind of thing. And back then, before the iPod was there, you'd have these little MP3 players. You could kind of put things on there, and all again, back in the day type stuff. This is not, all of this stuff that we're doing is not really new. The ease of interaction and the access to information is though. And I did my test the other day with on YouTube, where I posted on LinkedIn. I've not gotten any screenshots back on this, but going in, looking at a longer form video on decision making, and then clicking on the Ask Gemini link and then seeing what happens from a summary perspective, and then how that summarizes information in
Yeah.
context for you is super powerful. And
Yeah.
it's add in something like Obo. And I think you have no excuse for not learning.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now. It may take a little bit of extra work for you to go through and do it. But here's the beauty of it. If you're not where you want to be, you probably can figure out a way to make time to go do that extra work to go figure that thing out. The gig economy thing I think is super interesting. And there's this debate, and it's in my own little echo chamber, I'm sure. Yeah, I'll ask the question: have you seen anything recently about the difference between fractionals and in-seat operators?
People have been talking about it, but I mostly see it in people wanting to be fractional CLOs. Yeah. So
So
the term fractional and that calling it being a consultant a fractional
yeah,
instead of calling yourself a consultant, you're a fractional, whatever. Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah,
it's like it's like the old days where people didn't want to be an account executive, or you didn't want to be a salesperson, so you became an account executive, and then
yeah,
you didn't want to be an account executive because that name was riddled with whatever. So now you are a business advisor, a strategic whatever. Like, what are we doing? We come up with these names. And we do it to kind of reposition things. And ultimately,
yeah.
what ends up happening is some people who've taken a lot of time doing HPRs come together in a meeting, and then they come up with new ideas, new words that we can use, and they look to drive a market. Now, what's super interesting, what I'm seeing in my echo chamber, and I think this is just an evolution of what will happen. So there will be more and more people who may be fractional instructional designers, or fractional CLOs, or fractional whatever in any of these areas, breaking up their time into a fraction, like the five slice pizza that we talked about with Craig way back when. But there's this idea of, hey, I've got expertise and I can come in for a fraction of the time to go deliver something in that context. And Wendy's starting to see it pop up a little bit more now. The shift and the swing that I'm seeing now is people are like, don't take advice from a fractional. You need an in-seat operator. In-seat operators are the only ones who really understand the way that you feel because they've experienced all of this shit. And I think it's funny. And the reason why I think it's funny is because I just have a warped sense of humor, and I also I don't know, I just have a warped sense of humor and no feelings and all that other kind of stuff. But there's this,
You're just warped.
well, there's imagine this scenario. You have a choice.
Imagine, if you will.
You can, yeah, that was a huge one back at the Smart Force days. Like, hey, imagine if you will, and then you just self vision. Like, can you imagine what would happen if instead of sending your team out for a 7-day leadership course where they had to be away from their home and out of the operation, they could actually do some pre-work in front of their computer, come into the
And then schedule in a nap.
then go in for 3 days of in person, and then have follow-up that happens on the computer. And that is the beauty of e-learning. You don't need to bring in people there for a 7-day thing. You can shrink it down to 3 days.
All the money
And
you're going to save.
all the money you can save, all the time you can save. Just imagine what all the work that all the humans are going to be doing while you're out there. And then when you're not in front of all the humans, imagine all the cool L&D work that you could do. You can instructionally design the crap out of whatever. So anyway, but this whole fractional thing and operator thing, I think, is super interesting because it's very easy to have a polarizing point of view. You can say, I'm on the fractional, you can do it, or I'm on the in-seat operator side of things. And everybody can argue it, but it doesn't actually move the person who needs the help forward. It just creates more noise. Like, people have a problem. And the problem is all of the stuff that's going on inside that brain, the spaghetti of synapses on the right-hand side when I'm looking at Brent's stuff versus the left-hand side where order is found. And whether that person does it full-time or not full-time, or does it full-time in the context across multiple scenarios and actually has a little bit more experience, they might be the thing that can help you get those lines lined up. So it's not, I don't think the question is this over that from a fractional versus
Yeah.
full-time operator. I think the question is, what is the specific problem I need to solve today? And go a little bit further. Once you've defined it, why does that problem persist? Do your root cause analysis, apply some thinking. If you understand those two things, then you can start to determine, does it make sense for us to go in there and start solving it? And then how do we go through the process of solving it? But anyway, all this other hand waving stuff is just bullshit that just distract people from real work and looks good on LinkedIn and gets a bunch of likes and all that other kind of shit. So
That's in reference to the gig economy.
That's it. I think there's going to be more gig. Like I think that's the future of work. I firmly believe that is the future of work. That
Well, that's why.
to,
Apparently that's what this source is going to tell us. If somebody wants to click on the source link, I'll drop it in. If anybody wants to share it in the LinkedIn for people to take a look at too, but freelancers expected to be the workforce majority by 2027. And we've talked about this before because this has come up as, I think this has hit the cutting room floor before or something. I don't remember, but we were having discussions about it, and I always hearken back to pursuit of excellence. I don't remember if it was in that book where they stated it or if it was just the two guys that wrote the book were talking about it in their other books or in their keynotes or whatever that their presentations they were giving. But they were talking about this back in the early 70s that I don't know if they called it gig economy. I can't remember what they called it, but maybe they used the term freelance. I don't remember, but they were talking about this way back when. And that's how Tom Peters launched his career. It's how he launched his consultancy. And all of the books that he has ever created are about you as the individual, and you are a brand. You are your own business. You are, no matter whether you're working in a company, whether you're working for yourself, no matter what you're doing, you are a brand. He even has a book. I have the book. I bought all of his books. I was such an acolyte back in the day. He was the one that got me all pumped about being a keynote speaker and being a presenter. And I saw him at a Maisie event, at one of my very first Maisie events that I ever went to. And anyways, it's called the Brand U50. All 50 different ways for you to maximize your personal brand and build your personal brand. Now everybody talks about it, right? Like everybody on social media is like, here's how you can, build your brand this, brand that, brand this. But he was really the guy that started that. To give you a sense of timing, he would always say, you've got to have your own web page. And you've got to secure your name URL, the URL of your name. This was back when you were buying a URL was like, what? How do you do that? What's that? What? You can do that? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So anyways,
it's so the one of the big challenges with a lot of this stuff is it's super easy to present yourself as an expert in a specific area because you know how to prompt a tool like the tools that we talk about. And you can get it to write, and you can get it to share, and you can get it to do all those things. And you can get that first gig. The challenge is, can you get the second one and the third one and the fourth one? So like, I bet I could figure out how to get a gig as a ukulele player because I've got a ukulele. And I can throw some things up there. I can guarantee you I will not get the second one unless
you won't get the next gig, but you can get the first one.
Unless it happens to be connected to some kind of comedy, which is like, hey, let's watch this person completely implode in public attempting to play the ukulele. I think the cool part about kind of the evolution is you're going to have more to that brand piece. You're going to have more and more people who are going to be going into their networks and asking, what do you know about working with this person? Can they do it? Here's what I'm struggling with. Can you help me solve it? And I think that's one of the challenges that's out there is clarity, focus, and ability to execute. So
Indeed. And Craig, I don't mean to burst your bubble, but the whole left brain, right brain thing is actually Bubkus too. So sorry. or is that what you meant?
Well, I think he was looking at the image as left brain, right brain, and I was looking at, on one side of that image there's chaos, and the other side there's a little bit more structure. But it was more about like, how do you take the chaos and make it look a little bit more structured, not can I write mathematical equations on one side of the whiteboard while I'm drawing the picture of a person on the other side? And no, I cannot. So yeah. Have you ever seen the commercial where people do that kind of stuff?
No.
Oh, to look at, just do a search for left brain, right brain chalkboard, and you'll find something that might be kind of interesting there. I do have on my list. We are going to put our first 4 quotes inside the transcript into either VEO or Sora or our AI video creation tool of choice, and have a little bit of fun with that one.
Do I have to have the paid version, or can I? I'll use Opal. Opal's got a video and an audio thing. That was the thing that I got kind of excited about, because since I don't want to pay for Suno, I did notice in Opal they have an engine built into it you can select to make music. So
this is a competition, so I am not going to tell you what you can or can't do, nor am I going to give you the answers to the test.
It's a competition. What?
Everything is.
Okay. Well, then we need 2 more people, because we do 3 to 4 in our challenges. So
we do.
Other people have to use a different tool, and they have to figure this out too, and then bring it to the next party next week, and we'll be fine.
Well, actually, drop it into the Slack channel and see if
I did.
Our Slack channel is gonna. Oh, you've got the HTML in there. Cool.
Yeah, Wendy, I don't know if you were here when we dropped it in, but at the way up at the top of today's conversation, there's a thing called Showrunner Saved. That was my attempt at rebuilding my executive producer of the news brief using advanced agent creation using Opal instead of just Gemini. But there's a bunch of tweaks I need to make to it, but that was the first thing. I've never told the other gem how many anchors there were. It just assumed 1 anchor, but for some reason Opal assumes 2 anchors. So, which is actually kind of cool. Scripted banter. Anyway, so we're going to do this challenge thing, second week of February, and the weeks are slowly cruising by really fast. Are we still going to make it? Are we still going to pull this off, Mike?
Yeah, we're going to pull it off. I've got a meeting with Jen this morning, and I'm going to ask her about it and see what she might be able to do. And
Monday morning,
maybe we push it out to March, and we do it. We put it all along the theme of beware the Ides of March.
Well, we're going to do it in March too, because we're going to do it the second week of every single month, and we're going to do a challenge. And so February is just the first one. So that's all there is to it. So second week of February, the Wednesday, whatever day that is, we'll do it at 8 a.m. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay. We'll announce it Monday morning. There, right. I made a decision.
All right. We'll see you on Monday morning. Where can people find you?
LinkedIn, baby. Hook me up on LinkedIn. Follow me. Connect with me. Send me a DM and go tell me about how much these background images are making you crazy. And also share your favorite story about learning styles.
I love a good.
And where can people find their catalyst, Mike?
I love a good learning style story. It's so important. How can we talk about the importance of empathy if we can't empathize with people's learning styles? You can find your catalyst at findmycatalyst.com. I will see you on Monday.
And by the way,
Thanks, everyone.
Craig, I committed you to